Mercury, Hermes to me, messenger of God Almighty.
What need have we of a flitting, flickering breeze of a girlish boy to attend and deliver those messages, too rich and ephemeral for mortal ears to hear?
That's just it. The flit, flit, flit of one whose work will never be quit. For the tongues change as the days change, so too the tools and the spools of yarn to tie a bow around a fable. Let us be able, the mind must be watched. For what is Mercury if not mind? How do you think? What mechanics run your mental miasma? What mind-forged manacles hold our new century in shackles? Flit, flit. It is oh so quick. Mercurius, he or she, the androgyne, darts to and fro. It sets the nerves on edge. It is our very nervous system incarnate. The brave little one, dancing so close to our father's sun, never straying too far. Give, 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 take, 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 the lord of copper and all coinage, tithing and conniving, the neutrality tinged with hue of fiendy foes, or the mellow genius. Marvellous gift the mind is, to discern, interpret, calculate, litigate and placate. And then those glamorous fools who use it for music and perceiving the divine, who gift it back as sweetly as songbirds, who are piecing it all together through lyric and strong words, tricky trap of universal hilarity, mirroring, gleeful, the pitfalls of humanity, human errors, as we stumble and learn, taking turns to be humble and bumble through digital dilemmas of the soul, tracking this route towards whole, as the heart yearns, Mercury unfurling life as a fern, seeing patterns, pretty patterns, lighting lanterns as it flits through the details loosely harnessed, and on course this worthy servant wants no more nor less than to play, investigate, and convey. Come with me and serve yourself heartily.
Hello there, welcome back to the Ineffableelse. Welcome to another video in the series about Mercury, this time focusing on Mercury in Sagittarius, or Mercury in the 9th house, or if you have Mercury conjunct with Jupiter, which is incredible because that's one of the smallest planets in the solar system interacting with the largest, this big expansive gas giant. So you have really big dreams, you have really big optimistic potentials, and it's quite the opposite of what I was just discussing with Mercury in Scorpio. If you have Mercury in Sagittarius, you will have your Sun in Scorpio, Sagittarius, or Capricorn. 3 signs that all work in very different ways. So how does your Mercury interact with this placement? It's very interesting. It's going to mean that you're an ideas man, woman. It's going to mean that you're very easily inspired and very inspiring to others. You will have big concepts and ideas and kind of wild out there perspectives on the world that are, at the very least, they make people giggle, and at the most they inspire others to really just create the most incredible things. Mercury is very, very versatile, so I do have an introductory video about this if you'd like to go and see that first. It gives you more of a view of the totality, and then you break it down into, well, check which house is this falling in, how does it relate to the house that it's in. Is it a more optimistic house, or is it a jarring feeling? Is it interacting with any other planets? It's also sometimes triggering for other people to feel someone has this level of optimism and just this ability to let go and to say goodbye to the past, and to easily move through different concepts and ideas and very easily change the ideals. So it's important with this placement to set boundaries and know what your values are. Values are these inner heartfelt things that you wouldn't change for the world, these things that make you you, the lines that you wouldn't cross on a soul level, and then your beliefs which can shift and change, and depending on how you feel and depending on what's happening in the political sphere, in the global environment, you're going to have a different view depending on how extreme the environment is. You will naturally be changing along with these things. It can be frustrating to others who want you to be concrete, but you are here to teach people to have this fluidity of mind whilst having that strong and fiery consistency within your heart. This is mutable fire. This is radiating fire out in all different directions. It's absolutely glorious and very warming for other people. So always, I'm sure you do, but always share what you have inside. It's bound to be well received. It's bound to be what is needed for the ears of many, because you do see the bigger picture. And when we're looking at 9 house themes, it's themes of philosophy, themes of higher mind, themes of wisdom, and a life well learnt and lived and widely read and widely experienced. And in that sense, you get to a point of having a lack of judgment, because you've been to all these places. You couldn't possibly be racist or ageist or any of these things, because you felt into all of these planes. It's actually very empathic with this kind of placement. You're very easily able to see into the lives and the reality of others and see the best qualities within them. You make a great boss. You make someone who's very inspiring, a real leader, and not necessarily the main worker, although you do have a lot of fire to keep you going, and there is going to be a lot of sparks of new energy coming. So sometimes it's too fast to keep track of. So it's very good to work alone, but it's also great to work with a team, because you have this kind of rippling effect that can move out onto others and really help engage with them. It's great if you work with anyone Gemini leaning, with a Gemini tendency, because there's a lot of room for banter. There's a lot of room for just like loosening up any kind of tension, because it's not going to take itself too seriously. Of course, if you have your sun in Capricorn, this can be the thing that helps you broaden out and not be so restricted and kind of controlled and forceful, and it actually becomes something more all-encompassing and less harsh. So try and see if you can also use your Capricornian traits, your qualities, which are very good at organization and leadership, and then soften it and bring in a playfulness with the Sagittarian style Mercury. This is going to be someone extremely curious with a wide range of interests, which is the nature of Mercury. So it's a very comfortable place for Mercury to be. It's shining and gliding, and it's interesting that it's sort of in a square when you think of the natural zodiac, it being Mercury being at home in Virgo and Gemini, and in the other mutable signs, how it can just thrive or flounder potentially. And to make that supposed contrast between the very small and the very big really work together, just thinking of Google Maps and being able to zoom right in and see the detail of a place, and zooming out and saying, oh, it looks great from above, and then Mercury wanting to know, but zoom in, see what the pavement actually looks like, and having that back and forth within yourself, which is constantly looking for the discernment and feeling the optimism, but then asking yourself a decent amount of questions about what's the validity of this, is this going to fly long term, and if you have your sun in a Scorpio placement, then I love that, because you're able to dive from the depths of hell up into the heights of heaven, and then kind of find that middle ground here. There's something really interesting which I'm sure you will pick up on a lot if you have this placement, which is, in society there's a line of normality where the majority of people are, And if you are a really bad person down here, you're shunned by society. If you're kind of okay, like a good person, but just a little bit above average, you're really well loved. But if you're really good, you're just as bad as if you're really bad, because it's just too triggering for the people right in the middle. So the kind of need for competition, and that is interesting. This is the concern of the Libra Mercury, and by the time it gets to Sagittarius, it's like, I don't care if I sometimes have to go down here to the depths and make people feel uncomfortable, and I don't care if I have to shine my brightest light and I'm going to blind people. It's lost that ability to care, and that is what we need. People who really don't care about other people's opinions. Because then it's not a descent into chaos, it's not a descent into a world of no values and no hygiene, these kind of things. We actually come to a place of moving as a true human on earth in our highest self, our most beautiful, expressive self, without any kind of tension or any kind of shrinking ourselves, depending on the person who's going to walk in the room, depending on the person who's listening. We don't change ourselves to accommodate to different people. We just are who we are, and then that helps the other people to see themselves and shine themselves as well. A lot of times people are just looking for permission to shine, and you can't help but do that. So what are your biggest dreams? What are your highest ambitions? And in what way are you policing yourself and policing this kind of mind, stopping it from dreaming too big? Because there's equally a lot of tendency towards overselling ourselves when we haven't done the work and we haven't got actually what we say we have. We lie on our CVs. But equally, there's a lot of tendency towards not bigging ourselves up and putting ourselves down when we have all the qualifications and all the characteristics that everybody would desire, but we don't necessarily see it, or we see talking about it as some kind of vice rather than a virtue, to see the good within yourself. And there's a lesson for any kind of fire sign in ego and getting attached to the brilliance, in that you can actually just see yourself for what you have, but not see it as something brilliant and unique to me, therefore I'm better than anyone else, but really, oh cool, I've seen my unique thing, and wouldn't it be amazing if everybody could see their own unique thing, and having that inner knowing that everybody does have that unique thing, or multitude of things. There's a plethora of ways we can expand and grow out into the world and contribute in different phases of our life and different ages. And there's a lot to do with the process of aging and developing and maturing with any fire sign, and how to keep that fire alive inside, and the meaning behind everything in a kind of consistent, ebbing, pulsating sense. Just to bring it back to a few more mercurial type things, like, what is your communication style? Do you find yourself being very good with words? Are you wordy? Are you a linguist? Are you a poet? Are you an actor? Are you a musician? Do you create with dance, with fine art, with painting, with any kind of creative hobby, with embroidery, textiles, with cooking? Are you a big cook? I mean, Jupiter with Mercury, hello, it has to be something on the side of the lavish and extravagant and larger than life productions. And are you a wedding planner? That's a wonderful thing with this, because it's so optimistic and joyful and yet very organized. Are you really good at marketing? Are you really good at selling things to people? Are you a salesman? These are all qualities that you could have within you that you may not have tapped into. Anything that you have on a mercurial level, you can use Sagittarian qualities to big it up, to sell it, and to put others at ease with your capabilities. It's a learning curve. You can of course get taken down the wrong pathway, you can get taken down into excess, and also an excess in terms of doggedly believing in something and someone, and there is a slight potential for being a victim of a cult, because you're very able to see the positive and the light in everyone. It's very easy. Every human being, when they're in their best state, is really pretty great. Any human you think about, even if they're manipulating someone, they're really nice. Or even if they're asleep, you'll be able to see like a really nice quality to them. And it can be the lesson for Sagittarius to realize not everything that glitters is gold, and many people need to be shown the hand, and that some limitations need to be put there. And it can be a challenge when you see the good in them, you see the potential, and you have so much to share, and you end up giving your best self away, when you can just be cultivating it day by day, just being your best self, rather than having to constantly deliver to someone else. You deliver just by being you. And yeah, question everything. That's Sagittarius's main motto. It's kind of been through the Scorpio thing of deep transformation, and it's kind of fearless, which is why it can be so optimistic. So hold on to that optimism and let it be your guiding light. So if you would like to have a reading with me, please contact me via the website ineffableelse.com and write some comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Goodbye.